Today, we're going to be discussing how traveling in winter can be a secret cheat code.
My name's Dean.
My name is Kyra,
And this is
Vistas and Vittles, where we talk about retirement travel and all kinds of other goodies tossed in. Pretty much whatever we feel like talking about, but usually it's related to travel credit cards, those kinds of things.
All right. So I'm not sure if you know this, but in another time and place, Kyra was a tour guide.
Mm-hmm.
And Kyra's job was very slow during the early part of the year. January, February, March, there were not a lot of tours.
True.
And that made it the ideal time for us to take a vacation.
And then Dean discovered that when he was asking for time in, let's say, the early part of the year, January, February, March, there weren't a whole bunch of other people that were taking vacation during this time. And at one point, when we were doing our scouting trip, we were actually gone for an entire month.
Right. And I didn't get in trouble for it. So we've kept this up, traveling in the first quarter of the year generally, because we realize it's ideal for us to travel in the winter when everybody else is hibernating.
And it's a pretty good time. I think the only thing you're going to run into is in Southeast Asia during this time, it is Chinese New Year. So you will run into that early February, actually, around the first week of February, you will run into that. But other than that, most everybody has already spent their money during the big holidays in the winter over like Thanksgiving and Christmas, flying back and forth and on presents.
So we found that traveling during this time of year, rather than during the height of tourist season, gives us a lot of perks, and it is a travel hack, for us at least. Airlines are more likely to upgrade you because there are fewer people flying and they have available seats. Here's what happened to us last year. We were flying to Japan from Portland, Oregon. And we flew up to Vancouver, where we were supposed to catch our flight from Vancouver, Canada, to Tokyo. And we were there 6 hours ahead of time. We had
nice
plenty
and
of time.
early, plenty of time. We knew we were going to make it. We'd given ourselves plenty of time to make that second flight. However,
we kept getting notices that the flight was delayed. First it was a half hour,
then it was an hour,
and
then it was 2 hours, and we kept looking at that time. And then finally, we knew we should have been there by the time the plane finally arrived and was leaving.
Right.
We were pretty sure, like we knew we had about a 10-minute window to make that flight, and Dean was very anxious about it, and I was like, I don't think we're gonna make it, and I don't think we should run for it.
So this was mechanical difficulties.
Yes.
On behalf of the airline. So
It was Air Canada we were flying.
And they were really nice to us. We got to Vancouver, and it turns out we had missed our flight.
Yeah, they had just closed the door by the time we got to where we needed to be.
So they brought us over to a special waiting area, started looking at the computer, trying to figure out what they could do for us. And it turns out there were no flights to Japan for 2 days from Vancouver.
Yeah.
So what they did
was they ended up flying us to Toronto.
First class.
Which was the opposite direction of the way we needed to be going. And we were like, what?
Yeah, so they flew us first class to Toronto, and then at the airline's expense, they put us up in a Westin hotel, a really nice hotel.
It was great.
And then we got to fly business class in those nice lay-down seats with a glass of champagne in our hand from Toronto to Tokyo. which was it more than made up for losing a day, because it was a great trip, and they had the seats available, so there was no reason why they wouldn't give them to us who were inconvenienced.
We had actually booked premium economy. We were booked in premium economy, and I was going to check if there was an upgrade. And I always start putting out there like, hey, it would be really great if we got first class. But now I'm a little bit cautious about that because I don't know that I want like the 6-hour delay and then, to be in first class.
Careful what you wish for. Yeah. She put out there, we want to be in first class. She didn't put out there how. So another perk is pretty empty museums. We've been, in January or February, we've been to the Louvre.
The Orsay.
The Prada in Madrid.
The Orangerie.
Right.
Which is my favorite.
And there are no crowds. And you can actually get up close and really look at the Mona Lisa.
You don't have to buy tickets several days in advance. You can basically buy them a couple days before, the night before, that day, several times. We've just gotten up that day and gone, okay, let's just go and see if we can get in.
And you can actually sit down at the Orangerie on the benches in the middle of the gallery and just contemplate the art on your own time schedule, not being rushed out the door.
And just in case you've never been to the Orangerie, this was suggested to me by my friend Laura, and she had said it was just like one of her favorite places. And so what I ended up doing was getting tickets to go to the Orangerie, and this is where they have the floor-to-ceiling Monets. In case you've never seen them, it's probably not on a lot of people's list of museums to go to. Most people will go to the Louvre or the Orsay, and that's why we went to the Orangerie. And there are a lot of awesome museums in Paris in particular that are sort of the smaller ones that not everybody goes to, and that's where you can just have a great experience. The thing we did run into was we had gotten there fairly early, and later in the day, some school groups started to come, and then there were more people there. So you will sometimes have some school groups traveling, but we had plenty of time and were able to take pictures in front of the Louvre. Take pictures in front of the Monets, and we were able to get a picture with nobody around us, which was amazing.
And one December, Kyra went to the Dior exhibit.
Yes. Now, for something like the Dior exhibit, I wouldn't recommend going without a reservation. However, I did go without reservation. I was in line for about an hour, and I was able to get a ticket and go into the Dior Museum, and that was amazing. That exhibit was just fantastic.
And when we
worth every penny.
Right. When we were in Kyoto, we went to Nijo Castle, and which I highly recommend. It was it January or February?
I think that was January. Yeah.
And the place is huge, and there were not a lot of crowds. We got to walk through the castle with a group, but it wasn't crowded. We weren't being rushed along. We got to sit and have tea in front of a really beautiful pond. No crowds.
No crowds.
And we were just able to walk up and buy our tickets.
Mm-hmm. And then we were walking, and we came to this area where all these trees were in bloom, and there was maybe 2 other couples around. There was nobody. We were just like the only ones. So everybody was running around taking all these pictures in front of the flowers, taking pictures of the flowers and the trees, and we basically had it to ourselves.
Now, another perk of traveling in the winter is you are much more likely to get an upgrade at your hotel.
Mm-hmm.
When we travel in the winter, it's not uncommon for us to be upgraded to either a junior suite or a suite.
And it doesn't seem to matter which hotel group we are traveling with, because if you have been to the hotel before, or you're just a member of their basic program, and they can upgrade you to a suite, and you're going to be there for a week, why shouldn't they?
Another thing is because the hotels are not full, you get undivided attention from the staff at sometimes. We've gotten lounge access. We've checked in our room and found chocolates and champagne waiting for us.
Tea, special tea that was, down in the gift shop, but they sent it up for you to have, so you didn't have to pay for it.
One hotel was giving water bottles.
Yeah, and if you know me, I'm a tea person, so that was a big deal for me.
So yeah, we've really enjoyed hotel stays during the first quarter of the year. When we were in Japan, we were in Tokyo. We stayed at the Hyatt there. It's a Hyatt, right?
The Hilton,
The Hilton,
Tokyo
sorry.
Shinjuku.
And the staff was so friendly. They just bent over backwards to make us feel at home, gave us lounge access where you could literally go there and have dinner and not pay for it. And it was just a really nice experience. But if the hotel was more crowded at that point, I don't know that we would have really gotten that one-on-one connection.
True, yeah.
If you are enjoying our content, we'd really like you to like and subscribe. So if you go to the bottom of the page and take a minute, we would really appreciate it.
Yes, very much so.
So another perk of traveling in the off season during the first quarter of the year is that the locals are generally really happy to see you.
Right. In August, they were probably, if they would have seen one more tourist, they would have screamed. But now it's January, it's the low season, or it's February, or it's March, and the tour season hasn't quite started up yet. So you coming in and, sitting down and having lunch, and there won't be as many people there. They're very happy to see you. They're very happy to have a conversation with you. They have time to steer you to the better items on the menu.
And those items may cost less than in high tourist season.
Several times we've been told, well, if you order this and this, it comes with this,
And there have been times where we've seen restaurants that we really wanted to eat at. We looked on Google and the comments are like, it takes forever to get a reservation here. But during these early months of the year, we've been able to get into highly sought after restaurants within a day or two, or at most a week's notice. We got reservations, we went in, and even if the restaurant was busy, it wasn't overflowing, and we got personal attention. We ate great food, and we didn't have to wait like all of the tourists who were there in August.
Mm-hmm. So last winter, we were in Seville for my birthday, and we were walking through these little alleys, and we came to this one restaurant. And we were like, oh, this looks really awesome. It would be great. We could see all the seafood that they were, showing that they had some pictures up and things like that. And we talked to, we were told to come back later, and we came back in the evening and we talked to the lady that was at the stand. She was able to get us in for the next night. So normally this place would be packed because it was one of the Michelin restaurants, Bib Gourmet.
No, it was a Michelin star.
Michelin star.
And it had been Michelin star for years. There was also a restaurant in Copenhagen. We were there in January. It was very cold. But this was also a restaurant that is very hard to get into. It was another Michelin restaurant. And bear in mind, we're not spending an arm and a leg on these restaurants. We have found that there is Michelin dining on a budget. So if you look for it, you don't have to spend many hundreds of dollars at a meal.
Yeah, there are plenty of places where you can find, in the States, the restaurants happen to be a little bit more expensive, but a lot of times in Europe, and particularly in Asia, if you're going for a really great bowl of pho, it can be $3, $5. each. So a $10 meal as opposed to a $10,000 meal, which we couldn't afford anyway.
Yeah, so we just found that getting into restaurants is much easier, even if it's a restaurant that usually has a waiting list. We found that the shopkeepers are very happy to talk with us and happy to give us a deal, get a free glass of orange wine in Seville, and it's just a great time. Now, we mentioned Copenhagen, and we mentioned that we travel in January, February, March. So Copenhagen was really cold. It was worth it to be there,
man.
but it was really cold. But if you're traveling during this time of year and you travel, say, to Thailand, when we were in Bangkok in January, it
was 90 degrees.
Right. So you can work it out. So you get your sunny, balmy vacation in January too. So you don't always have to
Go someplace where it's snowing and, be totally thrilled about that. That's not necessarily what we're talking about. But also, it is sometimes nice to be there in the winter and not have all those summer crowds and be one of, like say if the restaurant holds 20 people, you're one of 10 couples that are there that night, and they actually have time to chat and spend a little time with you, talk a little more about the menu, suggest other things, and that can just be magical.
So if you want to get upgraded for your flight or for your hotel, if you want to be able to contemplate Monet in silence, if you want to look the Mona Lisa in the eyes, then traveling during the first quarter of the year, January, February, March, might be a good hack for you.
Thank you so much for watching, and we hope to see you again soon.